today's world, silence has become rare. Everywhere you look, there is noise competing for your attention. Notifications flash across your screen, opinions flood social media, and conversations constantly demand your reaction. In the middle of all this chaos, staying calm has become one of the most powerful abilities a person can develop. Most people underestimate the power of calmness. They think strength means reacting quickly, defending themselves loudly, or proving their point in every argument. But true strength often looks very different. It appears as patience, composure, and the ability to stay grounded when everything around you feels chaotic. When the world becomes noisy, it becomes easy to lose control of your emotions. Small frustrations suddenly feel bigger. Minor problems start to dominate your thoughts. The constant pressure of information and expectations begins to cloud your judgment. But the people who accomplish extraordinary things understand something that others overlook. They understand that clarity does not come from reacting to noise. Clarity comes from stepping back and maintaining calmness while others rush to respond. Calmness gives you perspective. When your mind is quiet, you can see situations more clearly. Instead of reacting emotionally, you begin to think strategically. Instead of making impulsive decisions, you start making intentional choices. A noisy world tries to push you into constant reaction. It encourages you to comment on everything, respond to every message, and defend yourself in every conversation. Over time, this habit drains your energy and weakens your focus. When you stay calm, you break this pattern. You stop allowing every external event to control your emotional state. You begin choosing which things deserve your attention and which things are simply distractions. Calmness also protects your confidence. When you react emotionally to every criticism or negative comment, your self-belief becomes fragile. But you remain calm, you show yourself that other people's opinions do not define your direction. There is also a powerful sense of control that comes with calmness. When situations become stressful, most people panic or react impulsively. The calm person, however, slows down, observes the situation, and responds with clarity. This ability changes how others perceive you as well. People trust those who remain steady under pressure. A calm presence signals maturity, discipline, and emotional strength. In a world filled with urgency, calmness allows you to think long-term. Instead of focusing only on immediate reactions, you begin focusing on meaningful progress and purposeful action. Calmness also improves your decision-making. When your mind is not overwhelmed by noise, you can analyze problems more effectively and recognize opportunities that others miss. Over time, staying calm becomes a habit rather than an effort. The same situations that once triggered frustration or stress begin to feel manageable and even predictable. As you practice calmness, the noise of the world slowly loses its power to control your emotions. You begin to realize that peace is not something you find in the environment around you, but something you create within your own mind. Focus is one of the most valuable abilities a person can develop, yet it is also one of the most difficult to maintain. Many people start their journey with strong motivation and clear goals, but over time their attention begins to drift. The problem is not always a lack of ambition, but the constant pressure of distractions that slowly pull them away from what truly matters. One reason most people lose focus is the overwhelming amount of information they consume every day. From the moment they wake up, their minds are flooded with notifications, messages, headlines, and endless streams of content. This constant stimulation trains the brain to jump from one thing to another instead of staying committed to a single task. Another major reason people struggle with focus is the fear of missing out. They feel the need to be involved in everything, respond to every message, and stay updated on every trend. Instead of concentrating on their own goals, they begin reacting to everything happening around them. Distractions also grow stronger when there is no clear sense of purpose. When people are uncertain about what they truly want, their attention becomes easily influenced by outside pressures. Without a defined direction, even small interruptions can pull them away from their path. Emotional reactions play a big role in losing focus as well. One negative comment, one unexpected setback, or one moment of doubt can shift a person's attention away from their progress. Instead of continuing forward, they become stuck thinking about problems that drain their energy. Another reason focus disappears is the habit of multitasking. Many people believe they are being productive by doing several things at once. In reality, this habit splits attention into small pieces, making it difficult to complete any task with full concentration. Avoiding this pattern begins with protecting your attention. Focus improves when you reduce the number of unnecessary inputs in your daily life. Limiting distractions allows your mind to settle into deeper thinking and sustained effort. Clarity of purpose also strengthens focus. When you know exactly why you are working towards something, it becomes easier to ignore the noise around you. Your mind naturally returns to the mission because it understands what is truly important. Another powerful way to maintain focus is by creating structured routines. When you assign specific time for important tasks, your brain begins to associate that period with concentration and productivity. Over time, this routine trains your mind to enter a focused state more easily. Learning to control emotional reactions also protects your focus. Challenges and criticism will always appear, but they do not need to dominate your thoughts. The ability to acknowledge them without losing direction is a skill that grows with practice. Focus also improves when you simplify your priorities. Instead of trying to accomplish too many things at once, directing your energy toward a few meaningful goals allows your attention to become stronger and more consistent. Consistency plays a major role in building focus. Small daily efforts reinforce your ability to stay committed to your tasks. Each time you complete something without allowing distractions to interrupt, your mental discipline becomes stronger. Over time, these habits transform the way your mind operates. Instead of reacting to every stimulus around you, you begin choosing where your attention goes and how long it stays there. When focus becomes intentional rather than accidental, your productivity increases, your progress becomes more visible, and your ability to stay committed to your goals grows stronger with every passing day. One of the biggest reasons people lose their peace and focus is because they react to everything around them. Every comment, every opinion, every situation seems to demand a response. Over time, this habit turns life into a constant emotional battle where your energy is controlled by whatever happens around you. Many people believe reacting quickly shows strength or confidence. They feel the need to defend themselves, explain their actions, or prove their point in every conversation. But constant reaction does not create strength, it creates exhaustion and distraction. When you react to everything, you give the outside world control over your inner state. Your mood, your focus, and your energy begin to depend on what others say or do. Instead of leading your own direction, you become pulled in different directions by external noise. The truth is that not every situation deserves your attention. Some opinions are simply expressions of someone else's perspective, not a reflection of your reality. When you learn to recognize this difference, you begin to protect your peace. Many conflicts grow larger only because people react immediately. A comment that could have been ignored turns into an argument. A small misunderstanding becomes a long emotional discussion. Reaction often fuels problems that silence could easily dissolve. Learning to pause before reacting changes everything. That brief moment of reflection allows you to decide whether the situation truly deserves your energy. Often you realize that responding would only waste time and focus. Self-control is at the center of this discipline. When you control your reactions, you begin to take ownership of your emotional state. Instead of being pushed by impulses, you become guided by intention. People who accomplish meaningful goals understand the importance of conserving their energy. They know their attention is limited, and they refuse to spend it on unnecessary arguments or temporary distractions. Silence can often be more powerful than response. When you choose not to react, you remove fuel from situations that depend on emotional engagement. Without reaction, many problems lose their power to grow. This mindset also creates mental clarity. When you stop reacting to every small trigger, your mind becomes quieter and more focused. The absence of unnecessary emotional noise allows you to concentrate on what truly matters. Over time, you begin to notice how much energy you once wasted on things that had no lasting importance. Conversations that once consumed your thoughts begin to feel insignificant compared to your long-term goals. Choosing not to react does not mean you ignore everything. It means you become selective about what deserves your response. Important issues receive your attention, while minor distractions are allowed to pass without impact. This selective attention strengthens your emotional stability. Situations that once caused frustration or stress begin to lose their influence over your mindset. As you practice this discipline consistently, your ability to remain calm grows stronger, and the world around you slowly loses its power to disturb your focus and direction. Mental discipline is the foundation of every meaningful achievement. Without it, even the strongest motivation fades over time. People often begin their journey with excitement and determination, but when distractions, difficulties, and doubts appear, their focus begins to weaken. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward when motivation disappears. Your goals require more than desire. They require the ability to stay committed even when progress feels slow. Many people abandon their ambitions not because they lack potential, but because they have not trained their minds to remain steady during challenging moments. Mental discipline begins with understanding the value of your attention. Every day your focus is pulled in different directions by responsibilities, opinions, and distractions. If you allow everything to compete equally for your energy, your most important goals will slowly lose priority. Protecting your goals means learning to direct your attention intentionally. Instead of reacting to whatever appears in front of you, you begin choosing where your time and energy will go. This conscious decision strengthens your ability to remain focused on meaningful progress. Another important part of mental discipline is consistency. Large achievements are rarely the result of one dramatic effort. They are built through small, repeated actions performed over long periods of time. Discipline ensures that you continue those actions even when they feel routine or difficult. Discipline also requires patience. Many people expect immediate results from their efforts, and when those results do not appear quickly, they begin to doubt their path. Mental discipline allows you to trust the process and continue working even when the rewards are not yet visible. Emotional control plays a major role in protecting your goals. Challenges, criticism, and setbacks are inevitable. Without discipline, these moments can easily disrupt your focus. With discipline, you learn to acknowledge them without allowing them to define your direction. Building mental discipline also means setting clear boundaries. Not every opportunity, conversation, or request deserves your attention. Protecting your goals sometimes requires saying no to things that do not align with your priorities. Your daily habits shape the strength of your discipline. The small choices you make every day either reinforce your focus or weaken it. When you repeatedly choose actions that support your goals, your mind gradually becomes more resistant to distraction. Discipline also strengthens confidence. Each time you follow through on your commitments, you prove to yourself that you are capable of maintaining control over your actions. This internal trust becomes a powerful source of motivation. Another benefit of discipline is clarity. When your mind is not overwhelmed by constant changes in direction, it becomes easier to recognize what truly matters. Your decisions become more intentional and aligned with your long-term vision. Over time, mental discipline transforms the way you approach challenges. Obstacles that once seemed overwhelming begin to feel manageable because your mind has learned to remain steady under pressure. The process of building discipline is gradual. It grows stronger through repeated effort and conscious choices. Each moment you choose focus over distraction strengthens your ability to protect what matters most. As this discipline becomes part of your character, your goals stop feeling distant and begin to feel like natural outcomes of the focused actions you repeat every single day. Every person who decides to pursue something meaningful eventually faces opinions from others. Some people will support you, some will question you, and others criticize you without fully understanding your vision. If you allow every opinion to influence your decisions, your direction will constantly change. Many people abandon their goals not because the goal was impossible, but because the voices around them became too loud. Doubt from others slowly turns into doubt within themselves. Over time, they begin to question their path simply because someone else did. Not every opinion carries the same value. Some advice comes from experience and genuine concern, while other opinions come from fear, insecurity, or misunderstanding. Learning to recognize the difference is an important step toward protecting your future. When you listen too closely to people who have never attempted what you are trying to achieve, their perspective can easily limit your thinking. Their doubts may come from their own fears rather than from the reality of your potential. People often project their limitations onto others. If they believe something is impossible, for them, they may assume it is impossible for you as well. Accepting those assumptions can quietly shrink your ambition. Ignoring opinions that do not contribute to your growth does not mean rejecting all feedback. Constructive guidance from experienced and supportive people can be extremely valuable. The key is learning to filter the voices you allow to influence your decisions. Your vision for the future must remain stronger than the temporary noise around you. When you are clear about where you are going, outside opinions lose their power to shake your confidence. Constantly seeking approval can also slow your progress. When you rely too heavily on validation from others, you may hesitate to take necessary risks or make bold decisions that move your goals forward. Confidence grows when you begin trusting your own judgment. This trust develops through experience, reflection, and a willingness to learn from both success and failure. Another important reason to ignore certain opinions is that many people judge only what they can see in the present. They may not understand the long-term purpose behind your actions or the vision guiding your efforts. History is filled with examples of individuals who achieved remarkable things despite widespread skepticism. Their progress required the courage to continue moving forward even when others could not yet see the possibilities. Protecting your future requires emotional resilience. Negative comments and criticism will always exist, but they do not need to determine your mindset or your direction. When you become selective about the opinions you listen to, your mind becomes clearer and more focused. Instead of constantly defending your choices, you can invest your energy in building the future you believe in. Over time, the results of your dedication begin to speak louder than the doubts that once surrounded your journey. Every day presents countless choices about where to place your attention. Some tasks feel urgent, others feel important, and many simply appear out of habit. Without clarity about what truly matters, it becomes easy to spend an entire day busy without making meaningful progress. Many people confuse activity with productivity. They fill their schedules with tasks, meetings, messages, and small responsibilities, believing that constant motion equals progress. Yet at the end of the day, they often realize that the most important work remains unfinished. Focusing on what truly matters begins with understanding your priorities. Not everything deserves the same level of attention. Some actions move your life forward, while others simply maintain routines that do not contribute to your long-term goals. When you identify the few things that create real progress, your perspective begins to change. Instead of reacting to every request or distraction, you start protecting time for the work that brings the greatest value. Clarity plays a powerful role in this process. When your goals are clear, it becomes easier to recognize which activities support them and which ones only consume time. This awareness helps you make better decisions throughout the day. One challenge many people face is the pressure to handle everything at once. They attempt to complete multiple tasks simultaneously, hoping to save time. In reality, this approach often divides attention and weakens the quality of their work. True focus requires simplicity. By narrowing your attention to the most meaningful task at any given moment, you give your mind the space it needs to think deeply and perform effectively. Another important aspect of focusing on what matters is learning to say no. Every yes to something unimportant takes time away from something that could create real impact. Protecting your priorities sometimes means declining opportunities that do not align with your purpose. Your daily environment also influences your ability to focus. When distractions are constantly present, your attention becomes fragmented. Creating spaces and routines that support concentration helps your mind remain steady on important work. Consistency strengthens this habit over time. When you repeatedly dedicate time to meaningful tasks each day, progress becomes visible. Small steps taken regularly begin to create significant results. Reflection can also improve your focus. Taking a moment to review how your time was spent allows you to recognize patterns. You begin to see which activities truly moved you forward and which ones only created the illusion of progress. As this awareness grows, your days start to feel more intentional. Instead of drifting through responsibilities, you begin shaping your schedule around the actions that bring you closer to your goals. Focusing on what matters does not eliminate challenges or distractions entirely. Instead, it strengthens your ability to recognize them and return your attention to the work that truly deserves it. Over time, this disciplined focus transforms ordinary days into meaningful building blocks of long-term success, and personal growth. Pressure is a natural part of life. Whether it comes from responsibilities, expectations, challenges, or unexpected problems, every person will eventually face moments that test their emotional stability. The difference between those who break under pressure and those who remain focused often lies in how well they train their minds. Most people react to pressure immediately. Their thoughts begin to race, their emotions become stronger, and their ability to think clearly starts to fade. Instead of responding thoughtfully, they react impulsively, allowing the situation to control their behavior. Training your mind to stay unbothered begins with understanding that pressure itself is not the true problem. The real challenge is how your mind interprets the situation. When you see pressure as a threat, it creates anxiety and tension. However, when you begin to view pressure as a normal part of growth, reaction changes. Difficult moments become opportunities to strengthen your mental resilience instead of reasons to lose control of your emotions. One of the most powerful ways to remain calm under pressure is learning to slow down your response. Instead of reacting immediately, you pause for a moment and allow your mind to regain balance. This small pause creates space for clarity. Breathing and awareness also play an important role in maintaining calmness. When pressure builds, focusing on steady breathing helps your body relax and prevents your thoughts from becoming overwhelmed by stress. Another key part of mental training is accepting that challenges are unavoidable. Trying to eliminate every source of pressure is unrealistic. Instead, developing the ability to face pressure without emotional disturbance becomes a much stronger strategy. Confidence also grows through repeated exposure to difficult situations. Each time you remain calm during a stressful moment, your mind learns that pressure does not have to control your behavior. Over time, situations that once seemed overwhelming begin to feel manageable. Your mind becomes familiar with the presence of pressure and learns how to operate effectively even in demanding environments. Preparation also strengthens your ability to stay unbothered. When you understand your responsibilities and plan your actions carefully, unexpected stress becomes easier to handle because you already have a clear direction. Mental discipline helps you focus on solutions rather than problems. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, your attention shifts toward what can be done next to move forward. Another powerful habit is maintaining perspective. Many stressful situations feel larger than they truly are in the moment. When you remind yourself that challenges are temporary, your emotional response becomes calmer. The people who perform best under pressure are not those who never feel stress. They are the ones who have practiced controlling their reactions so that their emotions do not interfere with their thinking. With consistent practice, your mind becomes stronger, calmer, and more stable, allowing you to face intense situations with a level of focus and composure that others struggle to maintain